Well, hello everybody. Mike with Spray Jones coming to you with another video, and this comment is exactly the kind of dialogue that I want to showcase. This is what's missing in our industry, is the ability to make educated decisions and get feedback based on solid, credible sources. And that's what I'm wanting to do with the new platform, is create a landing page where we can all be there for education. We want to be there. We want to learn. We trust the sources of info, and it'll be my job to bring some of the best minds in the spray foam industry into that platform to have discussions with me and you and the rest of us and share what we know so that we can get up to speed on specifications and building science methods and the history of foam. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So I hope you'll become a paid subscriber in the new platform. Okay, so Prog Rocker 70 brought up a very good point here that we want to go over. 100-year-old home. And how he came to his decision making process is what I want to highlight and just flesh out a few of these points within it. It says he has a 100-year-old home and pondered for 2 years on whether to do foam or not. I really like the idea of closed cell foam for many reasons. I like that it's a vapor and air barrier and its insulating value. You are correct. My main reason was that I could actually use my tall attic as a hobby space. Very common, 2.5 story, 3-story building where you can have 8-9 feet of overhead clearance in the attic space. We do these all the time. Closed cell spray foam to the underside of the roof, and then the roof can be sheeted with drywall, paneling, you name it, and you can walk around up in there. So he wanted to use it as a hobby space, which he couldn't do if he insulated the attic floor. I did a lot of research for a month, some really advocating foam, but most harshly against it. I don't know why that is, why there seems to be so many people that tell you to do the wrong thing and their voices seem to be loud, but that's where we're going to try to turn this around. I kept going back and forth, didn't really have any good options with 2x6 rafters and an unvented eaves. Fiberglass wouldn't work without losing headroom to add more bats. I considered just leaving it uninsulated, but the attic was cold and drafty. I then talked to a few people who had it done, 20 years ago, and they all said it was the best decision they had made on their attic. Now, what if they had had a bad job? What if they had had some idiot come in and mess the job up, didn't know what he was talking about, put the wrong foam in or the wrong amount or the wrong way, and it just had been a bad experience? Well, then he probably wouldn't be doing this. But thank the Lord above that he talked to somebody that had it done properly. And he said another was a contractor who said he uses it all the time in his rehabs and has it in his old house. But your channel is what allowed me to do the foam. So after 3 estimates, I found a highly recommended contractor and had my attic sprayed 2 months ago with closed cell. Have to say it's been great. Thank goodness. When I've advocated for foam and told people what to do, how to get it done properly, the worst, most disheartening thing is when they get sucked in with somebody who's like a charlatan and just doesn't put a good product on and a good method on, and then the decision making process was good right up until the installation. So I'm glad that he found somebody that did a really good job. So he says that no lingering smells, no cold drafts. Well, that's how it's supposed to be, folks. It's not supposed to stink. It's not supposed to be a pain in your side. It was 0 Fahrenheit here, and it stayed just under 60 Fahrenheit with no heat. I'm very happy. I still, in my mind, keep questioning if I did the right thing. I think that I did. One person told me I'll never be able to sell my house. Another said it will outgas and make me sick or give me cancer. He called it the new asbestos. Despite the negativity, I'm still happy with my decision. Okay, let's flesh out a couple of these points so that everybody can see what the answers would be in this decision-making process. When you are having limited space, the roof wasn't originally vented, and has old boards in it. Some of these homes are brick, or even if they're not, they've got a vintage heritage property that's over 100 years old. You don't want to be punching holes in the brick or the soffits or the woodwork or anything like that. So you can keep the structure as is. This is why the beauty of closed cell spray foam is what it is, that we can come in and spray from the plates of the walls, take it from the walls all the way up the roof, build sufficient thickness, direct the roof deck, and we don't have to reintroduce cold air in between the spray foam and the roof. Why? The spray foam can do it. It's not going to be detrimental to the structure. Now, I would say this is so we don't go down this road that England has had problems in the UK. You need to make sure that you've got water integrity on your roof. If you have got even the slightest hunch that you might have flashing problems, or that you're due for, shingle upgrades or repairs of any kind, or you've had just questionable areas on the roof, get those addressed first. Ensure that you have got 100% water integrity to the outside. Because once you put the closed cell foam up, you're not going to be able to tell easily if you have a leak. And that was what was going on in the UK. They were having leaky roofs, but they were also using open cell foam, and the open cell foam was being held up to the underside of the roof and rotting things out. So when you've got water integrity to the roof, and then you've got closed cell foam, you will be able to go the next 100 years, provided that the roof stays in good shape externally and you do your regular routine maintenance outside of verifying that everything is still watertight. So you don't need to reintroduce cold air. You don't need to bring cold air between the insulation and the deck. You also don't need to punch holes through the system. And you don't have to try and get more insulation into an already tight space where you've only got 6 inches to deal with, and if you add ventilation, it's going to more than remove your headroom. So that's the first major point. And then no drafts. If you get the foam all the way down onto the plates, get all the areas, get the foam into the cracks, into the crevices, into the tight spots, yeah, you should have no drafts. Properly installed closed cell spray foam, even open cell foam, does not have lingering smells. It's not supposed to. So when it's installed properly, you're not going to have an issue. And you should be able to know that fairly quickly, right away, within a day of the foam being sprayed. Now, let's just talk about never being able to sell the house. I don't understand why people shut their brain off, because closed cell and open cell foam meet the building code in North America, in Canada, in the US. So we're not installing a product that is extra of code oversight. We're not doing a product that has limited use authorization. We're doing a product that has been around in the codes in some situations for 40 years already. We've got ASTM testing on the products. There's massive standards within the industry for the physical properties on the foam. There's installation standards. This is not something that was just invented a year or two ago. In fact, I'm going to be talking and interviewing people that will show you that spray foam goes all the way back to 1957, 1961 in the United States and North America. Now, it was largely industrial back then. This is not a new industry, right? There's been improvements along the way, but this is a very recognized, viable, real building and construction material. It just has to be used judiciously. It has to be used in the right place by the right people. So I don't understand why you would sit there and say that you're not going to be able to sell the house. I think that's just importing problems from other countries that don't make a whole lot of sense. Secondly, this outgas. I mean, that's just slang term for VOCs or off gas. You're going to make me sick. Well, in Canada, we've got VOC testing. This is something that the United States has got to get more on, but their products have verifiable VOC testing on all products and make it presentable. But closed cell and open cell foam meets Green Guard indoor air quality standards, and I've got a lot of videos on that. I mean, you're surrounded with plastics. It's in your mattress, it's in your fridge, it's in your day-to-day life. And closed cell foam is no different. Again, how would code approval work if we were putting a questionable chemistry product in that had never been tested and certified to be let in around human beings? So that's a video for a whole nother discussion. And then saying it's going to be giving you cancer. Doesn't everything give you cancer now? I mean, sunshine gives you cancer, milk, sour milk. I mean, everything right now. Everybody, you can find about every single product. People will make these claims. I mean, I'm being facetious here because I've done videos explaining the benefits of the closed cell spray foam. Um, we've got the VOC testing on it. Um, it's a benign product, and we've actually had the spray foam subjected to the Ames culture test, which is the only one of the main established tests for carcinogenic products. Spray foam passes. So until they come up with new standards um, on how they want to test for carcinogenics, it's not that at all. This coming probably from somebody who's, two-pack a habit, problem in doping out on sugar all of the time, and they're sitting there worried about the spray foam insulation. Calling it a new asbestos, that's false. The thing about asbestos is that came in a time period in America, in North America, where there wasn't a lot of third-party testing. Throughout the 60s and 70s, well, even the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there wasn't a lot of third-party testing on certain products. So if something was going to be carcinogenic and cause issues, the checks and balances weren't in place. So to say that we don't have the checks and balances in place, and therefore it's going to be discovered pretty quick that spray foam is a problem, would mean that we don't have testing now, that we aren't testing now, and that 40 years has already happened. Like, this product isn't new. And so people have said, how do we know within the next year or two that they won't decide to ban this? Well, the reason being is that it's already been on the market for 40 years. It's already been in the code. The chemistry's been established. The associations are established. Spray Polyurethane Foam Alliance, Canadian Urethane Foam Contractors Associations, ASTM, UL committees, ULC committees. Like, there's a lot of governing bodies and regulatory people that are in place to certify what's going in the foam, how it's going in the foam, what the chemistry is, fire tests, smoke, the chemicals that are going in it, and the blends that are being developed are already approved with established products that are being able to go in them. So to say that it's going to be these things is patently false. Like, it's not true at all. But there's always somebody who wants to rain on somebody's parade, especially when you get a leg up in life and you've just taken unusable space and gained 5, 6, or 800 square feet of usable space. You're warm, you're dry, you've lowered your utility consumption. Your family's now going to be able to enjoy. Yeah, you're going to get a rain in your parade, and somebody's going to want to come in and tell you that you've done wrong. I live by this stuff, folks. I've got spray foam in all of my house, and I live by what I do. And we've spread a lot of these projects, a lot of these old-time homes, and there is no finer system. When the correct checks and balances are done, and you consult not from a sales approach, but from a, is it a right product for the fit, and make sure that the roof isn't leaking and that the construction is sound and that other considerations have been taken into account, like what's going to go on with the HVAC system and how much more tight is the home going to be. When you have properly educated your client as to what this can and can't do and what it should do, it is a great system. And this gentleman has found that out, and here's a testament. So these are the kind of stories that I like to tell and build on the positive. And tell me what you think. Lay out a comment. I'm going to be at the SPFA show, walking around, believe it or not. I'm going to be in Florida in February. And if you're bombing around, we'll hook up and probably see each other at some point. You'll get to see my face. So enjoy. Thanks for anybody that stuck around this long. Share, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on another video.